You remember the exact moment childhood stopped feeling safe. Maybe you were 7. Maybe 10. But one day, something shifted, and you became the one who had to hold it together. Not because you were ready, but because no one else would. And here is the strange part. You got really good at it. So good, that most people never even noticed the weight you were carrying. But your nervous system noticed. And it has been keeping score ever since. Stay with me, because what I am about to share might explain something you have felt your whole life but never had words for. Have you ever wondered why, even as an adult, rest feels uncomfortable? Why you feel guilty when you are not being useful? Why emotional needs, your own emotional needs, feel almost embarrassing to have? That is not a personality quirk. That is not just who you are. That is the shape that trauma leaves when a child is asked to become an adult before they are ready. Let us go deeper. Picture a child who learned early that the adults around them were struggling. Maybe there was financial pressure. Maybe a parent was emotionally unstable, or absent, or addicted, or just overwhelmed. And this child, without being told directly, understood one thing very clearly. My needs are a burden. So they adapted. They became the helper. The peacekeeper. The one who read the room before they could even read a book. They learned to manage other people's emotions because it felt like survival. And in many ways, it was. This is what psychologists call parentification. When a child takes on the emotional or practical responsibilities of an adult. When the natural order of care gets reversed. And the child does not experience this as trauma in the moment. They experience it as purpose. As identity. That is what makes it so hard to see later. Because here is what no one tells you. When a child grows up too fast, they do not just lose their childhood. They lose the belief that they are allowed to have needs at all. And that belief follows them everywhere. Into friendships where they give more than they receive. Into relationships where they attract people who need fixing. Into their own mind, where self-compassion feels foreign, almost selfish. You are not broken. Please hear that clearly. What happened is that your brain did exactly what a brain is supposed to do under stress. It adapted. It built a coping structure that kept you safe. The problem is that the structure never got updated. In neuroscience, there is something called a survival schema. A deep mental framework your brain builds in childhood to predict danger and stay safe. When you grow up in an unpredictable or emotionally demanding environment, your brain encodes a very specific rule. The rule is, if I take care of others, I will be okay. If I have needs, I will be rejected or abandoned. This schema lives in the limbic system, the emotional brain. It is not rational. It does not respond to logic. Even when you are safe, even when you are loved, the old wiring still fires. Think of it like a smoke alarm that was installed during a fire. It was absolutely necessary then. But now, even when someone burns toast, it goes off as if the whole house is burning. That alarm is not broken. It is just still calibrated for a world that no longer exists. And here is the question I want you to hold. If the pattern was learned, can it be unlearned? Yes. But not in the way most people think. Here is a simple framework. 5 principles, each grounded in how the brain actually changes. The first is to name the original role. Somewhere, there was a version of you that took on a job they never asked for. Helper. Fixer. Emotional anchor. Name that role out loud or in writing. When you name a pattern in the thinking brain, you create distance from it. You stop being the pattern and start observing it. The second is to practice micro-receiving. Your nervous system was trained to be suspicious of care, so retrain it slowly. Accept a compliment without deflecting. Let someone help you with something small. Each small act of receiving rewires the old rule. The third is to separate identity from usefulness. Children who grew up too fast carry a hidden equation. My value equals my helpfulness. Challenge that. Ask yourself what you enjoy that serves no one. Not what you should enjoy. What you are actually drawn to, just for yourself. The fourth is to grieve the childhood that was interrupted. You cannot fully move forward from something you have not acknowledged. Grief here does not mean wallowing. It means giving yourself permission to say, I deserved more protection than I received. That sadness is not weakness. It is honest. And psychologically, it allows the emotional brain to finally process something it has been storing unfinished for years. The fifth is to let yourself be new. The identity of the one who holds everything together is deeply familiar. Familiar feels safe, even when it is painful. But you are allowed to become someone who does not carry everyone. You are allowed to build a version of yourself that rests without guilt, asks for help without shame, and exists without constantly earning the right to be here. Now here is the mental model I want you to take with you. Imagine two trees. One grew in a storm. It bent sideways, grew thick bark, and learned to hold its shape against constant wind. It survived. But now the storm has passed. And the tree is still bent. Still bracing. Healing does not mean cutting down the tree. It means slowly giving it the conditions to grow upright again. You were that tree. And you are still growing. Before I close, I want to ask you something. In the comments below, tell me what role you played in your family growing up. The fixer. The invisible one. The one who kept the peace. There is something powerful about naming it, even just once. And I would genuinely love to read what you share. I want to leave you with one thought. The fact that you survived being needed too early says something real about your strength. But strength was never supposed to be your only feeling. You are also allowed to be soft. To be uncertain. To be cared for. That is not something you have to earn. That is something you always deserved.